Welcome back to Coach Factory. My name is Kathy, and this is the channel where we talk about your coaching business, how to make more money, have a lot more fun. And today we're going to talk about something that can be hard for a lot of coaches, and that is your website, your web presence. What goes into a good website? I'm going to take you through some things that every website needs and talk about how that applies to your coaching business. And then we're going to look at some example sites and why I think they work so well. There are some timestamps down below if you want to jump around, but let's just get into it and start talking about what makes a good coach's website and why. First of all, we have to talk about the very first thing people see when they see your site, and that is just that first top of page area on your home page. Studies show that people spend about 2 to 3 seconds deciding whether or not a site is going to be worth jumping into. So your about page could have the best story in the world on it, but if they are not engaged on that home page, they're not even going to poke around. They are going to make up their mind within a few seconds whether or not they're going to dive deeper. So you need to have a value proposition that explains who you are, what you do, and who you serve right there on the top. That headline and the subhead need to drill that home. Now, what do you do if you don't know exactly what to put here? This is where AI is your friend. Go to your favorite AI tool and tell it what you're trying to do. Have it ask you questions in order to get the information from you. Have it basically interview you to determine who you are, what you do, who you serve. Answer those questions, and then tell it to give you 10 options for a headline and a subhead that is concise for your homepage hero area. And AI will give you a number of things that you can work with. And if you have like 2 or 3 that you're like, I'm not sure, these all sound really good, or I'd like to move these around, but I don't know between 2 or 3, you can do something called A/B testing. And if you have software on your site that allows you to do A/B testing, you can test out a couple of different headlines and see which ones turn into conversions. And then once you have enough data to give you some statistical significance, like don't just make a decision after 10 visits, get 100 or something like that, and then decide on which headline is performing better. Go with what is resonating with your audience, and A/B testing is a perfect way to do this for your value proposition. The second thing every coach website must have is an about page. We've talked before on this channel about how important your story is, who you are, your experience, your expertise, the trauma that you've gone through that has given you the unique perspective that allows you to be of service to other people who are soaking in it. Tell your story. Again, this is another place where AI can be incredibly helpful. This should be in your own words, but what you can do is take something that you've written and ask AI to be an editor for you. Have it critique your writing, improve your writing, make it a little bit tighter, but don't let it take away your humanity, the way you communicate. If AI is overruling you and it isn't necessarily a grammatical issue, take it back. It should be yours. It should be in your voice. Don't have AI write your about page. It needs to feel like you. So make sure it's very personable and it is your story of how you overcame the biggest challenge of your life that allowed you to have the expertise to be of service to others. Your website should also have some kind of service overview. How do you package your coaching packages? Do you do a 6-week program, a 12-week program? What if somebody wants something longer? Do you do one-off sessions? And what do these look like? Your services page should also be very concise, easy to understand. A lot of research has gone into what should be on any kind of product or service page where you're actually selling something. People want to make a decision amongst 2 or 3 things, ideally 3 things. So if you have 3 different coaching packages, put all of those on your website and allow people to choose between those. It's really helpful if you can put these into sort of a pricing table where somebody can see bullet points or check boxes of what they're getting for each of the various options. And you can choose which one is most ideal for new clients and sort of highlight that one, put it front and center so that people can see what most people select or what is the best way to get started working with you. But make sure you have something that delineates the type of service that you offer and clear calls to action, those buttons that tell people what the next step is. Take an action, book me for a discovery call, or sign up, whatever that call to action is for you. Another thing every website should have is testimonials from clients who have worked with you. People who are going to hire a coach, they need to feel like this is going to be right for me. They want to hear the stories of other people who have found success from you. Something that's going to align with who your target audience, your ideal customer profile, that person. Find people who are like that and highlight them on your testimonials. Now, how many testimonials do you need? I would say that you don't need that many. If you have a page of 300 testimonials, nobody's going to read all of those. You need to choose the ones that are going to resonate most with who your ideal customer is. If you are a fitness coach and you work primarily with moms who are trying to get in shape after they have had their children, make sure that the people who are in your testimonials are those people, and it isn't Joe who's in a fitness competition. But if you're working with people who are in fitness competitions, make sure Joe's in there, right? So it should be the people who are your ideal customers, those types of people. If you have other testimonials that you think are just really great, perhaps you put those further down the page or you put them someplace else, but make sure testimonials are easy to find, not just buried on a page somewhere. Make them a main navigational item or make sure that they are on your services page, wherever somebody is going to be making those decisions. Make sure that they're easy to find and that they're easy to read so that when somebody reads it, they actually can get the vibe of what it's like to work with you and how well you help your clients find success. And we talked about this a little before. You have to decide what your call to action is based on who your ideal customer is, the people who are coming to you. Are these people mostly jumping into coaching, or do they want to do a discovery call? Are you just getting started and you just need to start building your list and having conversations with people? What does your sales cycle look like? This will inform the types of calls to action, the types of buttons. What is that going to look like? Now, we'll see in some of these example sites, some people have book a discovery call, some people have sign up for a call, some people have just get on my email list, get some kind of offer. You have to know your ideal clients, how they come to you, and how they book with you. You need to have contact information, a clear contact page someplace. How does somebody get in touch with you? Because nobody's just going to say, oh yeah, sign me up for coaching. They're going to want to get to know how you guys work together. That discovery call, how do they do that? If you don't have a calendaring system set up, make sure that you have some kind of form where people can request a discovery call so that you can get those people booked. They also need to know where you are in the world. Are coaching calls going to be asynchronous, or are they going to be something that gets booked on a calendar and you actually sit down with someone? If someone is in Asia and you're on the East Coast of America, those time frames might not line up very well. So make sure people know where you are, what hours you work, how to get a hold of you. Think about it. When you're taking your car in for service, you want to know when the garage is open, when they're taking appointments. People want to know when they can get in touch with you and when they should expect to hear back from you. If you have very clearly on your site that you only work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and they're sending you a message Friday at 4:30 p.m., they expect not to hear back from you until Monday. But if your hours say that you're working on the weekends, then they might expect a call back on Saturdays. But by making that clear, you set expectations. Every website should have professional design. It should feel cohesive. It should feel like everything that's on the site is intentional and is there in order to serve the site visitor. I've seen websites that don't have a logo, don't have any kind of branding at the top, don't have any kind of professionalism. It detracts from your brand identity if you don't put some intention into it. Now, of course, nobody's going to book you because of your logo. My logo on my site is just some cursive KZ. Nobody's booking me because of that at all. People are booking me because they resonate with me. But by having some kind of logo there, it adds a level of professionalism, and it shows that I've put some intention into making my site cohesive, professional, that I'm not just fly by night, that I'm in it for the long haul. So professional branding is important. Now, do you have to have a professional designer create a site? Do you need to spend $10,000 on a website? Not at all. There are so many tools available for building sites, making it very, very easy. And we'll take a look at some of these example sites, and you'll see that they are very cohesive, but they probably weren't $10,000 sites. Having some kind of blog or resource section that gives somebody a place to explore what you think about things, how you see things. Get to know who you are in your own voice. Now, this could be a podcast. It could be a collection of videos. It could be a collection of podcast interviews where you have gone on other podcasts. Anything that allows people to get to know who you are and what you think about things and how to solve a specific problem. Now, some of the things on my site that actually perform well in the search engines have been things like how to make a decision when you're stuck. And that blog post actually performs really well and brings a lot of traffic to my site. So writing something that's useful, that helps people where they are, solve a problem, can bring people to your site, get people on your email list, somebody that you've never even met before. Now, I'm getting people coming to my site from comments that I've left on Reddit, things that I've written on social media. By just sharing what you think, your experience, how you feel about things, it is going to connect with the people who need you most. These people are going to book you when they feel like, oh, yes, I feel like this person is saying what's going on in my head. I need to learn more. I need to have a coaching session. Just by sharing your experiences, even sharing a case study of a client that you've worked with in the past, what their problem was, how you worked through it, how they got the insight that they needed, and what the results were in their life. Those kinds of case studies help people feel what coaching with you is all about. Your site should have very clear navigation. Your site should be organized. The information architecture should be pretty clear and intuitive. They should be able to find out how to get back to your homepage, where your about page is, how to book you, how to contact you, testimonials. All of this clear navigation should be on your site, and it should be the same on every single page. Once you introduce that navigation, you're basically showing somebody the map of how your site works so that they can quickly and easily find what it is that they're trying to find. I mean, if they're on your site, they are looking either to learn something specific about what you think, or they're looking to learn more about you and whether or not you resonate with them as a coach. Now, another thing that is so important is mobile optimization. Studies are showing that over 60% of website traffic are coming on our tiny little devices. So your website should be what we call responsive. It should be able to tell what somebody is browsing with, what browser size that they have, if they're on a phone, if they're on a tablet, or if they are on a desktop with a larger monitor. It should be able to determine that and be responsive to the device that someone is visiting with. And mobile optimization is so important. It means that your site needs to be fast because mobile networks are typically a lot slower, but they're getting faster. But your site should be very performant, it should load quickly, and it should adapt to whatever device someone is visiting on. I'll just talk a little bit about performance here because it is so important. We just talked about how people will make a decision about a website within the first 2 to 3 seconds. Well, if your site hasn't loaded yet in the first 2 to 3 seconds, there is a problem. They might think your site's not even working anymore. So you want to make sure that your site is very performant, that it's optimized. If you need help with that, there's plenty of developers who can help you optimize your site. Make sure your images are compressed so that they download quickly, so that the code base is nice and tight. If you're using a content delivery network, there's things like Cloudflare that are free that you can put in front of your site to make sure that no matter where someone is visiting in the world, if you are in Australia and somebody is visiting in New York, that the site feels like it is on a server right next to them rather than traversing the entire world. So content delivery networks are really important. And I'm just going to say something about security because I spent a great deal of my professional life over the last 10 years working in security. Whatever password that you use for your website, it needs to be unique, it needs to be long. And if two-factor authentication is available for whatever platform you're using, whether it's WordPress, Squarespace, Wix, whatever website development tool you're using, make sure you have a very strong password. Make sure that you are using two-factor authentication, either a text code that comes on your phone or something with Google Authenticator, which is much better. Use that two-factor because if your password is somehow exposed, that two-factor authentication is going to protect your site from being hacked because you don't want a hacked website. Somebody comes and visits your site and is redirected to a bad part of the internet. It just reflects so poorly on your brand. So securing your website is so important, just as is securing your email and securing everything else. But let's get into some of these sites and take a look at some examples of some pretty decent websites and talk about what works for them. The first site I found that I really liked, just the cleanliness of it, is Jess Van Garst's meditation. All of the benefits of meditation, none of the struggle. I'll teach you to meditate in a way you enjoy that gets you results no matter how busy your mind or life. And a beautiful picture of her over here. This type of site is great because it's so simple, very, very clean. Navigation at the top is very clear, and a beautiful picture of her that is very serene. And it just feels like you want meditation to feel. So the branding is wonderful. The site is beautiful. Going into more detail about the value proposition and addressing some of the pain points. And then we have her story down here, a little bit about her story and how it improved her life. And then get started, some more information here, and some testimonials right on the homepage, but just two of them. If they get down this far after visiting that beautiful hero area, they can learn what other people have experienced and some of the benefits. Really, really great site. Again, here's another call to action of worked with me and more testimonials. Get on that mailing list. And again, we're repeating down at the bottom some of the navigation and those social links. I thought this site was extremely well designed, nice soothing colors, supported the brand, and I really love this hero area. It said everything we need to know about Jess and working with her and the benefits of working with her. Let's take a look at another site here, Matthew Kimberly. And this site is very simple. There's no navigation. The call to action is interesting to me. There's a lot of words here, but it says basically who he is, and Glamour Magazine calls him the tough love business guru, and the click here to get my emails and my famous 5 things guide, and then right into some testimonials. An extremely simple site. I would think there should be a little more here, but I think what this person, Matthew, knows is that engaging over email is where sales are going to happen. So he wants to get that email on their email list, and that is where all of the business is taking place. So it's a very simple site, but it is doing everything that he has determined he needs to do. Social links down here on the bottom for LinkedIn and for Instagram. And that's about it. Extremely simple if you want to work with Matthew. The next is Shannon Wilkinson. We've got a nice picture of her, and the colors are very soothing. What the world needs is less angst and more action. little call to action to take a quiz. I think this is an engaging way to get people working with you. Have them take some kind of assessment that tells them more about themselves, and they remember that they get that from you. This is a great way to start engaging with people. And then, of course, we have this little pop-up. When I first loaded the site, it popped up on its own. The second time I loaded it, it is now a slide-in that you have to engage with to just get on her list. And she's got a little bit of her story here. Let's get that pop-up out of the way. Who she is and why people work with her, more about her, discover more about the coaching, a nice, very large testimonial. What are you struggling with? Finding focus, getting started, maintaining momentum. Another great testimonial here. So very clean site. As you scroll down, the colors start to get a little more vibrant, but as we are up here in the hero area, great picture of Shannon and great colors in the background. The navigation, very easy to dive into the coaching that she does she does speaking, dive into her podcast, blog, or book a call. Let's take a look at her about page. I want to see how the navigation might change. No picture here, but our navigation stays the same, even though the colors are changing and are more vibrant. And her about area has a nice value proposition here. More information about her here and some more testimonials and how long she has been coaching. The next site is Gabby Bernstein, and she's got a very successful podcast. Her navigation is mobile navigation on desktop, which I thought was pretty interesting, kind of hidden away, but she's trusting here that you're going to get everything you need on her homepage before you dive into anything else. So let's get started. Not sure what that leads to. Let's take a look. So she is basically getting on the email list. She is going to engage with people on email. That's what getting started means to her. She has a challenge that you can dive into. Group coaching, millions of readers and listeners worldwide. She's got a nice video here. NBC News giving her some credibility and a number of testimonials from Oprah, New York Times, Good Morning America. Very high-powered testimonials for Gabby here. Nice photo, make your inbox happy, and all of her socials are down here. But the big thing is that navigation, there's so much white space up here. This might be what she likes, but it would be nice to have the navigation across the top of the site for a desktop view. David Ball, he has his navigation all up here. No pictures of him, however, but basically who he is. I would say that it would be better to have some kind of large print here that gives you that value proposition. But he's basically saying, are you thriving in areas that matter most to you? He's got some credibility here with 6,000 one-on-one coaching sessions in 11 years. And then he has you dive right into his testimonials. And his testimonials are all here. And we've got videos. We see these in a couple of different shapes. Instead of having them laid out this way, I would see if we could get this video so that it's vertical as well. Maybe put them right next to each other and then a couple of text testimonials underneath it. That might be something good. But beautiful site. No pictures of David, however, but he's got this really nice link here if you're not sure. And he's got a number of reasons why people work with him and a contact button as the call to action. Here's another great site, Jim Williamson. His picture is there, and stop spinning your wheels and start scaling your business. He's solving pain of spinning wheels and goes for that aspiration of scaling the business. And the call to action right here, book your free discovery call. He's got some navigation across the top, another call to action in the navigation. And as we scroll down, we see talking to someone's pain points. Are you overwhelmed, confused, scared? He's here to help. Another great picture. If you're going to invest in something, I would invest in professional photography that shows you in your best light, because that really does help someone engage and understand who you are. And a number of calls to action here as well. Very nicely designed, very professional. We've got this neat effect here where things kind of pop on scroll. sort of an animate on scroll type of thing. And then you get a free assessment to discover how your business is performing. If you have any kind of free assessment, if you can offer something like that, it helps people get information that can help them determine whether or not coaching is right for them. So Susie Moore, let's reload this because we'll see how that pop-up pops right up before I can see anything else. If you have a pop-up like this that obscures your entire site, it better be good, right? So she is giving you free access to her signature course, which is usually $1,000. But here's something interesting. All you have to do is rate and review her podcast and then email the screenshot. So she is trying to get some reviews on her podcast and she'll give you the signature course. So this is what is most important to her. More than coaching, more than anything else, she wants reviews. So interesting call to action there with this pop-up. I would argue that a pop-up shouldn't happen that quickly. But it's up to you. If something is incredibly important to you, obviously reviews for a podcast are the most important thing right now for her. I would not do that, though, until somebody has scrolled further down the site. Let them get to know who you are. When we look at her site, it's gorgeous. Incredibly gorgeous, serene picture. Look at those colors, the blue and the yellow together. Her branding is right on. I love how she's treating her name with the bold Susie and her last name Moore, but it's very cohesive, very clean. Just a great design. It's a beautiful website, a great value proposition right in the hero area here, and start now, a good button there. She's got about, press, courses, and get in touch, all of that navigation up here. Start now. Let's see what happens if you start now. Get on the email list. 300,000 other people living an unconditional life. So she definitely has some authority with that many people on her list. And that is how you get started with her. So she's not necessarily selling coaching. She's got some workshops that she is selling, but it doesn't look like she is selling coaching, selling her courses, and looks like a book. And definitely review that podcast. So very interesting site there, but the branding is absolutely gorgeous. Mike Foster, another great coaching site. He's got great professional photography, nice colors, the blue and the beige, very nice together. He's got in his navigation about, book, podcast, speaking. He's telling you growth accelerated. He lets people blow past the limits they never agreed to. If you're stuck, small, or playing small, you're not broken. You're just looking for a breakthrough. And the primal question assessment. We see this on a number of sites where people have an assessment available. He is definitely doing speaking and events. He's got a great video background here. I love that he's not doing it immediately on load, that it's further down the page. It gives it some time for this video, which is probably heavier to load. So it is not taking away from that first impression in those first few seconds, even though it looks like this video really showcases that he does a lot of speaking in front of large audiences and is very engaging. So that's great. And he's doing executive coaching. So now I would highlight that further up here because I don't know that he's an executive coach, but maybe people aren't just finding him on the internet. Maybe they see him speak and they already know he's an executive coach. So you have to know your audience and what you're doing. But he's doing heart-centered, high-performance executive coaching. You can inquire about coaching here. You could book him. Let's see what his booking link looks like. That's for speaking. So if you want to book him, he is much more into speaking. He's got some great logos here of some large media brands to give him some credibility. And a great site. I love how things are animating on scroll, an engaging way of you're scrolling, you're interacting with the site. Here is some movement to reward you for that. So that is definitely an interesting effect here. So here's a form if you want to get him speaking at your event. Let's see what that coaching link, the inquire about coaching, actually takes you to. So here's his executive coaching page and what it all includes. And he just wants you to contact him. What you are interested, executive coaching or speaking or team trainings. Great site. And He has some social links down here as well. All of his places that you can connect with him, where you can get questions answered, and basically what he offers, workshops, his book. I want to take a look at his book real quick. 7 Primal Questions. Of course, his assessment was associated with this, so you can order the book. I'd take that assessment, see what that's all about, and where all of these 7 primal questions came from that unlock your emotional superpower. 7 years of research, 6,000 hours of interviews, and 22 group workshops and labs. And yeah, looks pretty interesting. Everything is animating on scroll. I know it's an awesome effect. I do like it a lot, but maybe a little bit overused. It would be interesting to see what that looks like on mobile as well. But anyway, another really interesting site. His name, no major logo development here, just a nice font treatment of his name. He is the brand. He doesn't need to develop something special, like we've seen with a couple of the other coaches. Their name is their brand, and so they are highlighting that. I hope going through these sites has been helpful to you and to understand what it is you need to put on your website. Now, you might be asking the question, do I need a website at all? And maybe you don't, but look at some of these professional websites and you see that it just supports the brand. If someone's coming to you for coaching, if they find you on Instagram Reels and they like what you have to say and they start looking at more and more Reels, eventually they're going to click the link for your link tree or your website, and they're going to want to learn more. They're going to learn more about how to work with you, what you offer, what you do. Wherever you are driving traffic from, your site should feel like the home of where you are. It is your home base on the internet. And if you are working with a lot of different social networks, maybe you're doing YouTube videos, Instagram, maybe you're on LinkedIn, all of these other places, Facebook, and people are visiting your site from those places, then you need to have some place for them to land. It has never been easier than it is right now to develop a website that looks professional and supports your brand. So I would argue that you have nothing to lose by developing a professional website. By looking at some of these examples, you can start thinking about your own business, maybe take some ideas. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. When you see something that's working for another coach, take what works for them and apply it to your business, apply it to your niche. Now, I've looked at probably 100 other coaching sites over the last week as I was preparing for this video. There's a lot out there. These were some of the better ones that I saw, and some of them are done, I think, a little bit better than others. And there's a lot of people who just have a very basic site. They're not investing in it. When you invest in your brand, it makes it easier for people to do business with you. Another thing I'd like to comment on is I saw a lot of coaching sites where they had upcoming events, but the upcoming dates on these events were like last year. Your site should be the front door of your business. So if you have an event that happens and that event is past, make sure you take it off your website. If you have something new that's coming up, it should be on your website. It is the first place people are going to get to know who you are and what you are up to now. You don't want the information to become dated. If you're dating your blog posts or your resources, make sure you have something that is recently updated so that they know you're still in business, you're still doing things, you're still engaged. And this isn't some, dead internet artifact that they've come across. It should reflect who you are, what you're doing right now, and how you can be of service. I hope some of these taglines and some of the ideas I've given you, using AI to develop the headlines on your site, using AI to refine the copy on your site. I wouldn't recommend that you go to AI and just write me a blog post about this and then copy and paste it into your site. You want to make sure that it has your personality, your stories, your experience, you. That's something we saw with all of these websites, is that it's about you. It's about you, the coach. It's about you, the brand. It's not about a fancy logo. It's not about fancy photography. It's about fancy photography of you, but it's about you. Now, I know it's really hard sometimes to market yourself. for me, it's always been very easy. Oh, here's a product that I'm representing. Isn't it cool? And talking about the product. I've kind of built my own personal brand talking about others' products. That's always been very easy for me. But when it's time to talk about me, I'm a little more shy. It's harder. You almost have to create an avatar of who you are, this thing outside of yourself, and that's what you're marketing. And make sure that you are showing that avatar in the best light possible. It is about you. You are the coach. You are the brand. Even if you have other coaches that work with you, other coaches that are supporting you, you have other people in your business, it's still about you. Think, for example, about Tony Robbins. If you go to Tony Robbins for coaching, you'll get one of Tony Robbins' coaches, but his site is all about him. So it's about you, who you are, what you bring to the world, your philosophy, the way you see things, the way you coach, the way you are of service to the people who come to you. I hope all of this was helpful. And, I would love to talk to you about your website and your online marketing, anything that you're doing. I would love to talk to you about it. And if you need ideas, you just want to bounce some things off of me, if you want me to take a look at your website and sort of give you my general impressions of what you could improve and do better, I would be happy to do so. You can book a session with me with free 30-minute session with you and tell you what I think could be done, maybe a little bit better, or some things to test. Or maybe you're not even tracking the people that are coming to your site. I can give you some advice on analytics, all of that kind of thing. I've got a ton of experience in that, and I am here to be of service to you. So find that link down below, and if you're still here to the end, you are a real one. So drop a comment. Let me know you made it to the end. I want to know who you are. And we'll see you next time on Coach Factory.